Hi, Jeff Munn, Creating Extraordinary Future. I'm going to continue talking about this transition in my work, in my focus, in who I am serving from people who are making some kind of major shift in their lives to founders. And I think it's helpful for me to talk about what I consider a founder to be, because after all, I'm a founder. I founded a coaching business going on 7 years ago now. And there was some point at which I moved from employee to founder. And I find it interesting because in some ways, that realization that I was a founder didn't happen until recently. It didn't happen until actually I'm starting to think about expanding my business and bringing in other people and bringing in agencies and bringing in partners. And these are things that the founder of a business does. But at the same time, that shift of employee to coach slash founder happened years ago. And I think as I talk to a lot of people, when I'm in the middle of a coaching conversation with someone, it doesn't really matter what the externals look like in their lives. What I am looking for, what I have found I resonate with, is someone who thinks about the world differently, someone who sees that there are all of these assumptions that we make about the world that simply aren't true. For example, the vast majority of our economic system in this country is based on this model of employer employee, that my employer is often a, a faceless, I don't know, corporation, this kind of behemoth, that I have a job that sits in a box on an org chart, and that my job is to stay within the confines of that job. If you've worked at a big company, and I've worked at a few, part of the tension of being at a big company is figuring out when I can poke around the edges of that box. That was true for me, but I knew plenty of people who were quite comfortable staying within the confines of that box. They were a certain type of financial professional. They had a certain type of expertise. They were given certain types of projects, and their job was to manage those projects. And I think that's incredibly useful and helpful. It's vital to the success of these organizations, whether it's a big corporation or a financial services firm. It just wasn't me. I was the one who was always kind of poking around the edges of the boxes and seeing that, wow, my box over here had some overlap with this box over here. And wouldn't it be great if we could talk, if we could coordinate, if I could kind of break down these silos within the organization, if I could talk more about what my silo was doing so that their silo could do a better job. I just kind of instinctively did that. I instinctively thought more holistically about the role of the company on the whole and how I could contribute to that. And that's even in my corporate career, in my consulting career, in my leadership career. That's what I was looking for. If you're like that, if you see that the structures are arbitrary, if you see that the boxes don't actually exist, we create them, and then we live inside them. And if you've always rebelled against that, maybe, I would say you're a founder. You're a creator. Maybe that's a different way of putting this. You are a conscious creator of at least some part of your reality, instead of a reactor to what others have created as reality and you have accepted it. So not that there's anything wrong with either one, but it's interesting to recognize that you have accepted someone else's reality as a creation right? Even the acceptance is your creation. But the first step that I find toward my working with someone, whether that's just creating a group of people to have this conversation with, or a smaller intensive coaching group, or a one-on-one client relationship, it's that recognition of your creatorship, that recognition of your agency in this process, that you do not have to accept the world as it has been described to you. You can describe and therefore create a different kind of world and operate within that world. And there is power in that creation. So if that resonates with you, I would encourage you to stay on, because even if you don't consider yourself a company founder, you're a creator, you're a founder of that creation of yourself. And there is a recognition that you are creating that from moment to moment. And that's the conversation we're all in here. And where it leads, I don't know. I didn't know in 2011 when I discovered there was this thing called coaching, and it really looked intriguing to me, and I thought I might be interested in it someday, that in 2016 I was going to get the opportunity to do that full time, and that in 2023 I was actually going to be at the point where I was not only making more money than I was in my old corporate job, but actually thinking about bringing in people into this venture that I was calling a coaching business now, that I was treating as a founder of a business, and that I would be working with primarily founders of other businesses. So if that, it just sparks something in you, stay in this conversation and we'll see where it goes. Take care. Have fun experimenting with this. Have fun thinking about a potential future for you and working back from that future. There's all kinds of things going on here. And I would love that you would continue to be part of this community. Thanks.